Hey, hey, what's really going on? Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, going to be taking a look at Dogecoin, DOGE, against US dollar tether. On the Binance chart, going to be taking a look at some of the technical aspects of price action moving forward. Going to be assessing some of the key levels I believe prices are going to be interacting with in the short term here. We're going to be assessing whatever technicals we can find in the ridiculous price action that is Dogecoin at the moment. We are ever so abundantly bullish, and price does not want to stop. Price just keeps plowing through resistance as if it's not even there. We've had a couple red days, but those don't last long. We're getting bought up at every dip we can, and so we're going to be seeing if this rejection around kind of was a little mini resistance around 69 cents there is going to be significant enough to bring us all the way back down to some lower support levels, or are we just going to plow through it in the coming kind of days here. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you're doing with your Doge. If you have some, did you buy at a top? Did you buy at a bottom? Did you sell at a top? Are you trading Doge? Are you holding Doge? Were you accumulating back in the coming months when Elon Musk was first tweeting about it? Were you accumulating before Elon Musk? What are you doing with your Doge if you have it? So jumping right into it to assess this kind of upcoming kind of price action here over the past kind of like year, roughly. So we've had just like ups and sideways. So we have, like double, triple in value, tens of days of sideways up to a month of sideways, 10x real quick over the kind of couple days. And then we've had, the multi-months of sideways, tight accumulation above 5 cents, under 6 cents, very bullish long-term in my opinion. Found support, plowed through resistance around, 5 and 6 cents there, like just under 6 cents, and then we plowed through the 8 cent resistance, which was the, rejection we had and the swing high after the kind of 10x in the end of January there. We've now rallied since the candle closed at the beginning of the month. We rallied 600% before facing a mini rejection off of 43 cents, and now we're currently 900%. We've seen almost 1,000%, or we've seen 1,000%. We're currently 900% above candle close in the beginning of the month of April, and we're just a few days into May. And so that rejection back at 44 cents, 45 cents there, when we kind of came down to 22 cents, came back up to 43 cents, a technical lower high on the Binance chart, short-term bearish, and so we retraced from the 44 cent swing high all the way down to 15 cents, a 64% correction over the course of a week, which was very bullish. It seems that was a great opportunity to buy. If you somehow bought that perfect bottom, you're up a good 282% in a good 2 weeks there. And so tons of buy pressure. Under 23 cents, found support around 25 cents, a good psychological round level. Found support very quickly, rallied upward, and we've been gaining kind of ever since. But this move does not look like it's over. This kind of looks like it's only about halfway over, and so we definitely seem like we could just rally and we could have price action similar to these kind of candles over here that were very quick, very minor red days, but they didn't last long, and so we ended up kind of pumping immediately after. I suspect that to be the case in this kind of current price action. I suspect this to kind of close sort of around where it is, and then we can kind of continue upward as this rally does not seem to be over. I do believe the next kind of significant resistance is going to be around $1. In my opinion, that's going to be a big psychological round level everybody's waiting for. $1 is going to be a big and large slapping zone. If the 69 cent resistance level that we are at right now is significant enough to push us all the way back down, I do believe a short-term bullish support can be found around this kind of level here, kind of just above 36 cents and under 44 cents. And so I do believe that can be the zone that prices kind of come down to and interact with moving forward before they continue to skyrocket, if we even trade sideways for this long. So I mean, we could easily kind of come down to this very quickly, and just bounce right kind of back up. As Dogecoin just does not seem to want to stop. But from a technical perspective, we are very, very overbought, and a very, very intense pullback is pending, and a far, far greater than the 60% correction we had kind of a couple weeks ago. When we turn on EngineeringRobo along with the fettuccine lines of sacred symmetry, geometry, and zucchinis, we have a new perspective here. Buy 4 coming into play a couple days ago. After the sell 4 briefly in that wick on the 23rd of April, support found around the 0.382 level there. Skyrocketed all the way up, plowing through these Fibonacci lines like they're not even there. This 0.618 and 0.5 line is kind of correlating nicely with my kind of buy zone there, and so I do believe that to be a key range that we can find support in the short term if this correction does seem to be greater than just the kind of day kind of thing. We could bounce down to these 0.786 line and kind of continue to skyrocket, but I do believe short-term buy zone to be around here. Still have the moon present back at the beginning of accumulation in beginning of February. There we have the moon still. It was like buy 2, buy 3, tons of buy signals. We're still bullish on Dogecoin. Like we said, buy 4 a couple days ago, and so this uptrend is looking like it wants to continue. If we consider the price of Dogecoin against the anomaly that is Bitcoin, we can see price action just insane. It doesn't even care what Bitcoin's doing. It doesn't even know Bitcoin even exists. Gaining against Bitcoin, like it's not even there, dwarfing its prior price action as if like you need like a million X microscope to even like see what price it was before what it is now. And so prices are just ever insane, ever so bullish. We've got support found above 469 Satoshi there. I do believe, I guess the next kind of resistance is going to be probably above that, like this kind of level there. That might be kind of a next kind of level. I guess suspect as we figure out where prices are kind of heading to in the near future here. Turn on EngineeringRobo and the Fibonacci lines of sacred angles and mathematics. We can see the super buy 4 cloud buy prices closing above the 200 moving average. We're interacting nicely with these Fibonacci levels, 0.618, correlating nicely with my zone here. And so I do believe that to be a nice local bottom if we can kind of come down to it. I do believe we're going to break through this 0.786 line against Bitcoin. I suspect that to occur. But the 0.618 line around kind of these 793 Satoshi there is going to be a nice short-term local bottom in my opinion. I do believe we are still very bullish, and with these signs against Bitcoin closing above the 200 moving average and all these bull signs, we don't have like any kind of sell signals on the Dogecoin against Bitcoin chart yet, and so we are still looking quite bullish in the long term and short term. And so realistically, we're going to be interacting with the dollar very soon. Dogecoin can see figures that no one could imagine still. Like no one could imagine figures that it's at today, and it could continue to blow everybody away in the kind of very near future here. If we consider the fear and greed index for the for Dogecoin against US dollar tether, we can kind of see a new perspective here. When we go to the Bittrex chart, and we can see that we are well up in the FOMO zone. And so in the FOMO zone, there's FOMO present, and so that's why it's referred to as the FOMO zone in layman's terms. And so fear and greed index indicate kind of two zones where buy and sell pressure can be kind of very volatile. And so to break it down in a more simple manner, a good time to be accumulating would be below the green zone here for long-term investors. To say you want to hold through all this kind of sideways and nonsense, and you just want to buy and hold. For long-term investors, you want to buy kind of around and under this kind of green zone here. This is kind of a good accumulation. And then you want to be trading with between the fear and greed lines there. But then you want to be selling typically in the FOMO zone. This is when prices are very volatile. This is when there's very high sell pressure. This is when traders should be taking profit after their long-term kind of accumulations. And so this is what suggests usually a kind of market top, and prices tend to kind of fall out of the FOMO zone again. Although if prices are, if whatever coin is up in the FOMO zone is bullish enough, it can contest the ever so abundant sell pressure up at these levels, and so it can hold it sideways. And then FOMO is FOMO, and so tops are bought and rallies continue. And so prices are very, very volatile in this zone. Sell pressure is very high. Pullbacks are random. And these pumps could continue, but they could not. So that's why this is a very, very volatile range that you want to be very careful and very pay close attention to changes in momentum that could happen at kind of any point in time, because resistance is anywhere. And so the fear and greed index is more for a kind of long-term kind of investor sort of standpoint. Traders would perhaps use the support and resistance strategy and other EngineeringRobo buy and sell suggestions. But for long-term investors, the fear and greed index is perfect for major moves in the market, in my opinion. If we consider Bitcoin against the price of US dollar, on the Binance chart here, we can see prices interacting with the 57-cent resistance there yet again. So we interacted with it briefly for a few days, and then got rejected all the way back down to like the low 50s again, only briefly to get bought up just the other day. And so with prices still getting beaten, battered, splapped, and spit on by this 57K resistance, kind of above pretty much sort of where we are, and under 58K there. This seems to be the box of rejection that we seem to be not allowed in. Perhaps like, can we raise it up to here? Term resistance right there. That seems to be the kind of zone that we are not allowed in just yet for whatever reason. Perhaps we continue this rejection and we come down short term. We kind of do something like that. I mean, or Bitcoin is just like, you know what, I do what I want and I just, plow right through it, and we kind of come up like that. We could recover very quickly. There's tons of momentum in Bitcoin coming off of this bounce bracket, the high 40Ks there. And so, I mean, we still have the sell 4, hell, sell 2, and sell 3 present on the USDT chart here for our EngineeringRobo. And so EngineeringRobo is still slightly bearish, although we have the super buy and early bird coming in. And so, I mean, that early bird means that you're early on the pump kind of thing. And so this does suggest perhaps some further very short-term pullbacks over the next kind of coming days. But the super buy and early bird is very bullish in my opinion, and I do believe we can plow through upcoming resistance very soon here and start interacting with this trend line. Rejection off of this trend line would perhaps be more midterm bearish, and we could definitely kind of come back down to kind of previous levels that we've been trading at. And so, I mean, lots could happen with the Bitcoin, although we are looking very bullish, and this recovery is looking very nice, and we are coming out of this accumulation very quickly. I do suspect these buy signals to start returning. Once they do, that is when we can interact with the FOMO zone for Bitcoin up there at 87K. And so the higher the FOMO zone gets, the more long-term bullish we can be, as the interaction with the FOMO zone here does suggest a perhaps market top and could suggest the coming end of the bull run, and we could interact with a bear market. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for hearing my analysis. Look out for EngineeringRobo's buy and sell suggestions. Look out for changes in the market momentum. We're interacting with resistance at the moment. A pullback could be pending, or we could fly right through it. Be very cautious when investing. Know your risk. Check out all the social media down below. Subscribe here on YouTube. Let me know what you're doing with your Doge if you have Doge. And tune in for the next one.